but informational items, it's important that the Cavs get support material also. And in particular, item number 24, I've tried to get support material. I contacted Commissioner Raines, he was chairman at the time, to put the agenda together. I've tried to get information on what historian Cliff Gardner is going to be presenting so that I can figure out how to have the best discussion with this individual, have our biologist ready. Prior I sat on the Big Marsh Management Plan. We did a lot of history going over at that time. I'd like to have a constructive conversation about that, but not being prepared as I should be to have that conversation. I would like to table item 24, bring him back at a later date, but get some information from him so we can have a discussion instead of just a presentation. I think it's important not just to get presentations, but get active discussion, get the most out of the time we spend here. So I'd like to make a motion, we table item 24, bring it back on a future agenda, but have Cliff Gardner get with one of our biologists so we're all prepared to have a constructive discussion on the topic.
Any second on that? I'll second. Okay, let's bring that back to the commission for discussion. Commissioner Rain.
I guess I may have put it on the agenda, so I'll throw it out there. We've had Cliff Gardner spoken to the commission before. He's got some really good information. It's just informational. If there's further information on a future agenda, that'd be great. He had time available tomorrow. He spent a lot of time on this. If we don't like it, cut him off after his, 20 minutes. That's all we had, figured approximate time. It's good historical information. And actually, he's got a database that I pointed out to Commissioner Rob when he called me up and asked about it. That's one of the best databases on historical. We're talking no opinion, just you want to see the actual old written history. It's been compiled by this individual, and my understanding is most of his presentation is based upon that database. And it's available online. I believe it's gardnerfiles.com. And it's really a good resource for history. You want to go back and see what some of the early explorers came up with, what their journals online. There it is. A lot of other stuff too. But that, my understanding is it's based upon that, and want to bring up further discussion. Great.
I have a little bit of comment on this. For 3 years, we have sat here and had agenda items forced upon us with no information. And I'm here to tell everybody that those days are over. And so, from here on out, if a commissioner wants to put an agenda item on this agenda, then it's going to have informational backup. And that information is going to go out to the cabs, and we're going to get cab input. They're going to have meaningful discussion on these items. There's not going to be any springing of any, information on everybody to make anybody look bad and put people on the spot. That's just not going to be happening, at least during my watch. And so that's my specific comment on this. This agenda item was placed on this agenda for this meeting, knowing full well that on July 1st, the guard changed. And so when that happens and you basically decide that you're going to put an agenda item on, you do it at the risk that once things change and that you have a new chairman, a new vice chairman, and basically a new commission, that maybe the commissioners aren't going to necessarily agree with your position and what you want to do. Now, in all fairness to Mr. Gardner, I think we should bring him back. We should let him have a say, and so that's why I'm supporting the motion. That's why I second it. Commissioner Rob.
And I don't want this motion I've made to make it look like I'm a pro-sheep guy, because I pretty much know everybody in the audience knows I'm pro-sheep. This is not about sheep. This is about information getting to the calves. The only way the calves can be effective is to get information. And without information, we all do not go as far as we could. I could be in full favor of what he is saying here. It's just the information didn't get to the Cavs, and that's where my biggest heartburn is with this item, and that's why I'm on the table.
Commissioner Drew?
Given that, Commissioner Robb, would you be acceptable to amendment to bring Mr. Gardner back in September, provided he provides background information for the Cavs to review?
I'd be in full support of that. That's what the motion is about, getting the information to the Cavs.
Is that an amendment to your motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second the amendment. Any further discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none, I will let it out to the public for public comment. Any public comment on this issue? Ms. Karen?
Chairman Macbeth and board members, my name is Judy Karen, for the record, from Washoe County. I'm representing myself today. I'm very engaged with our local county advisory board, and I read the support materials, so when I attend my county board, if it's an informational item, sometimes there's department staff there that I have reviewed the background, knowing what's going to be discussed, can ask intelligent questions if I have concerns, but I know the report and what direction the commission is going to discuss. And I agree with you, even in these informational items, even the one on the SAGE, we had no idea which direction this was going. We know the importance of it, but we do need support material for the public's sake to be actively engaged with our county boards. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to bring it back. Any further discussion by the commission?
Procedurally?
Procedurally, go ahead. Commissioner Ray?
See, you said amended the motion, did you remake the motion? 'Cause otherwise, will we have to vote on the amendment? So we're gonna be voting on the amendment, or did you restate it and resecond it? Because I heard amendments, that's the question.
I can restate the motion that we table item 24 today, bring him back in the September meeting, but the requirement to come back in the September meeting is information get to the Department of Wildlife and to the Cavs so we can have a constructive discussion.
Okay, and I will second that. Again, it states to me that I need to make sure that the previous motion was withdrawn, and so basically what we have is we have everything, all the discussion prior to Commissioner Robb's last statement withdrawn, and the motion was restated and re-seconded, and so I believe we're now ready to vote. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. And so, all opposed? 5-4. Okay. I believe there's only one more item, and I'll go ahead and start the discussion on this. We have received a tremendous amount of mail and emails with respect to the bear issue, and we had originally had the bear issue scheduled for this particular meeting, and unfortunately we had an intervening decision from the court that caused a procedural issue that with regard to noticing up the permanent regulation, and so we deemed it to take into account the judge's order. We deemed it prudent to move the bear regulation. We were going to basically move the permanent bear regulation to the September meeting. The problem with that, as been pointed out, is that the meeting is going to be held in Las Vegas. Now, with regard to agenda items 27 and 28, we also had a discussion with regard to a meeting in February, wanting to move that from Reno to Las Vegas to take advantage of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation event in Las Vegas, and I believe there's also a Sportsman's Expo that's being held there. Some original discussion, as you can see from the agenda item, was that we basically just flip those two. And so I guess now I'm wondering is that, is there a way, given these two agenda items, to amend it and actually, and I guess there's two things we could do. Either just move the September meeting from Las Vegas to Reno. I apologize, gotta do a little sidebar here and get this figured out. Okay, I've just been informed by our DAG that we can't do what I want to do, so unfortunately. But I've had some discussions with the director with regard to the issue of dealing with the letters and the emails that we received with the wishes of the bear advocates that the meeting be moved to Reno. We can't do that. We're trying to, we're gonna be coming under the wire just to get it in September to try to save the full season, the full bear season. And so that's why we have to have the meeting in September. But I think I've asked and I don't know if maybe this is members' item or whether I can just go ahead and discuss it here, but I asked the department to check into making the Reno office available electronically to be able to accommodate the people from Tahoe in in the discussions for the September bear items. I don't know if we want to keep it open for the full 2 days, but to have maybe the office available to take comment and discussion from the public out of the Reno area, Reno, Tahoe, all that area. So I guess that's not going to be an agenda item, but anyway, Kim, is the department okay with that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we did check, and I was looking at all possibilities here. The room is available. The challenge we're going to have is teleconference versus video conference. The technology, we're not exactly sure. I don't know what the technology on the Las Vegas site would be.
Bring the conference phone there.
But we can bring it, like we've done before, we bought a new phone first of the fiscal year, so which works much better. So we could do it via teleconference.
And I wanted to get that out because the next item that I do want to, with regard to the agenda, and this is specifically as to the agenda, is to bring forth item number 29 on the agenda, public comment. I would actually like to move that up. Sorry, I'm being corrected again. These dags, these attorneys. We are going to leave item 29, but what we want to do is we want to insert another public comment agenda item. And I guess the best place to put it would be right after this agenda item. So I would make a motion that we add a public comment agenda item immediately following the agenda item that approval of the agenda.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I have a request, can you make that motion and approve the rest of the agenda so that we can,
I believe we have one outstanding request from council as well for the litigation report. I don't think we've taken care of that yet.
it's maybe a universal motion, please?
Okay. I will change my motion. I'll withdraw my motion. We'd withdraw second.
Yes, withdrawal.
Okay. I'd like to make the motion to create a new agenda item for public comment right after this agenda item, approval of the agenda. I would also like to move the litigation report informational item, which is 15F, to tomorrow. And so we'll add that, we'll add that to the end of the informational items on Saturday. And finally, my final part of the motion will be to approve the agenda as so amended for this item as well as the two previous motions that we've had.
I'll second.
Any further discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none, we need to take this out to public comment? Okay, any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any other discussion from the commissioners? Oh, Mr. Rain, Commissioner Rain, go ahead.
Sorry, just one thing, and that is, I would like to request that staff inform Mr. Gardner of the decision of the board as immediately this morning, because he might, I don't know his travel plans, and might save him some gas,
Okay, that's reasonable.
which is not free.
Do you have his phone number?
I can come up with it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Okay, Commissioner McNinch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hate to belabor, but I want to make sure to our DAG, we're adding an agenda item for public comment that I don't necessarily believe is necessary, even with the new, as long as we provide public comment under each item. And the last thing I'd want to see is some kind of public, some kind of a complaint filed that we added an agenda item that didn't actually need to be there. Are we okay?
Excuse me, Cassandra Joseph Dag, you are okay with adding an agenda item as public comment? Cannot remove public comment as an agenda item, but you may add it. You're okay.
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye and raise your hand. Aye. All opposed? So that was I think that was a 9-0. Okay, the agenda has been amended, and I have Mr. Gardner's phone number here. Can I give that to the secretary? Okay, my intent, obviously the intent to get the public comment moved up is to accommodate the bear folks, the bear advocates, and then also the making sure that they knew that they had a place to be able to come that's convenient for them to participate in the September meeting. And so I was hoping that maybe that might deal with some of the public comments. So anyway, why don't we go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is now public comment. Everybody limited to 3 minutes on public comment. Vice Chairman, do you have the cards, or do you want to just have everybody just raise their hand?
I don't have anybody listed, just there's some generic ones, but I don't have anybody listed under just public comment.
Okay, anybody from the public can come up for this public comment period. Again, 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Hal Taylor. I'm one of the attorneys who lost the case, and I'm speaking for myself today. By the way, I've been going to administrative hearings. I've seen literally hundreds of them. I must say about the last 2 hours of meetings have been one of the most exciting meetings I've seen in a long time. You know, good for you, real democracy in action, and I appreciate it. I was going to comment about the issue of the September meeting. Also, perhaps we could ask that the Deputy Attorney General explain why we can't, the board could not take that action at this time. And then I do have a couple of other comments on that, so.
Certainly, I'd be happy to. The commission cannot take action on moving the September meeting today because it's not agendized and there hasn't been proper notice for it. It's not included in action items 27 or 28, and therefore the commission cannot take action on that today.
Okay, I thought that was probably it. So, a couple of comments. One of which is, by the way, I know that a lot of boards and commissions also utilize the Attorney General's office. There's a lot of courtroom there for video conferencing board meetings. There might be other options there. Certainly that would address a lot of concerns of those who oppose the hunt, that they won't get their time to at least have the board listen to their comments. But I appreciate the thought at least. And with regards to when the permanent regulation does come up at the September meeting, I would like to have the board take some consideration with regards to this entire, obviously very public issue. The better information this board, this commission can have to make its decisions, the better for the public and the better for Nevada. And I'm going to suggest that when you take a look at that permanent regulation in September, you consider whether or not at that point you have to in fact adopt the permanent regulation, whether in fact at that point you may want to table the permanent regulation at that point until you really get a picture of what's happened in the 2011 bear hunt. Because I know you're going to take data, I know you're going to have information from the hunters as to you know, how many bears, how much scat, that kind of thing is out there. And I think that will put you in a better position to have better information to make your future decisions regarding bear hunting in the state of Nevada. I do know, talking with hunters, one of the issues that I think you're going to have to address at some point is there is some level of discomfort with regards to using dogs for these hunts. And I think that's the kind of specific things I think the commission ought to take a look at some point and decide whether or not that's appropriate for hunting bears in Nevada. You know. And lastly, I do want I share office space with Tom Pepez. I think a lot of people know the Pepez family up in the Ely. And Tom did ask me to read into the record something which he had previously sent to Mr. Healy, and I'll do that, and then I'm through. As a native Nevadan and a lifelong hunter in our great state, I'm voicing my opinion against the bear hunt authorized by the Commission. I believe bears in Silver State cannot be compared with other wildlife game animals such as deer and elk. To begin with, the number of bears are low, and the problems between bears and humans are created by humans. And in my own opinion, it is wrong to have such a hunt. In my personal opinion, a bear is like a dog, but a wild version of a dog and should not be hunted. Secondly, hunting a bear in Nevada is not a real sport, as bears really do not have any kind of chance. Please accept my comments, the spirit of an avid hunter and Nevadan who does not want bear hunted feels he should speak out. I certainly hope that the Commission will take the best information, get the best data it can before it moves forward on this very public issue, and thank you for your time.
Just going to put everybody on notice that when you hit your 3 minutes, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'll do it as nicely as I can, but let's please limit these discussions to 3 minutes.
And just from mine, I'm doing the timing. If I give them a 15-second warning, is that adequate? Do I need to do anything else? Just give them I'm going to give you a 15-second warning, and hopefully we wrap it up in that 15 seconds.
Ma'am?
Good afternoon, my name's Sheila Schwadell. I'm a real estate broker up in South Lake Tahoe, both California and Nevada side, and have been since about 1984. And I'd just like to make a statement that in regards to the pending legislation, regulations that will allow hunting of black bears in the Tahoe Basin, this will present a problem for area homeowners who border the national forest and the open tracts of forested land. The vast majority of second homeowners and local residents who reside in the basin actually think that hunting is banned within the basin. Given the publicity of the pending hunt, I've received many phone calls from other agents and clients who are worried about the hunt within close proximity to their respective homes, and the consequence of the possibility of decreasing property values from such actions. This may become an item of official disclosure, real estate disclosure on future sales, and that will bring a negative consequence on property values. Homes that interface the national forest lands will be impacted, include Glenbrook, multi-million-dollar properties, Cave Rock, Lake Ridge, Zephyr Heights, Round Hill, and Kingsbury Grade areas on the southeast shore of the lake. Most second home buyers invest in Tahoe for the natural beauty, the setting, the nightlife, and the vast recreational opportunities that it offers. People do not buy property in Lake Tahoe in order to hunt. Bordering the forest is a prime factor in real estate site selection, and here in Tahoe, these owners of properties now face the possibility of declination of property values due to the proximity of bears and hunting. In February 2011, I attended the Douglas CAB meeting and commented on the fact that my comments were left out of the official minutes. Many clients have also expressed concern regarding the heavy use of residents and tourists on the Tahoe Rim Trail and the possibility of running into an injured bear or stray bullets. Homeowners invested in Tahoe to enjoy what nature has to offer, including the bears of the area. They did not have to expect to disclose that the newly sanctioned hunting of bears near their homes may affect their property values. People don't want to buy houses that border forests that have hunters running around, and I know that it's not going to be overrun by hunters, but this is going to be a real possibility. The amount of money a few out-of-town hunters or even local hunters might drop in Tahoe is pale in comparison to the money generated by the local real estate market, as we all know. Our clients are people who want to own at the lake to enjoy the quiet solitude of the mountains and the forest and all that is unique, including the black bears. And over the last 15 years, be it good or not, bears have become an important item in Tahoe for attracting tourists.
15 seconds.
That's it. I thank you for your time, and I hope you will reconsider that, as it will have a negative connotation on property values and probably will become an item for disclosure under real estate law in Nevada.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Dr. Molden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Don Moldy-Reno. First of all, I'm announcing my retirement from these meetings, so I thought I'd let you all. Just kidding. I have something more astonishing. I believe Commissioner Vogler and I actually have 2 points of agreement this morning. I'm here to let you know that I'm putting on the table a guide for people who are interested in commenting on the draft EIS that now exists relative to the Las Vegas water importation project and the pipeline right-of-way application that the BLM is processing at the moment. This is a rather remarkable project, as many of you know, that has the potential, not in our lifetimes, but a couple of generations down the road, of changing eastern Nevada as we know it, depending on pumping activity, well location, and the rest. And I'm hoping that there may be some sportsmen who haven't become aware of this issue who perhaps would like to do so. So I'm putting these things on the table. There's also a meeting in Reno at the Sparks High School at 3 o'clock next Thursday, where BLM is hosting an open house, and public comment is welcome. So that's all I want to mention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Molly.
You interrupted, bud.
I'm sorry.
Put your seatbelt on.
I'm playing. Any further public comment? Mr. Dixon? I guess I should call you Dr. Dixon, too.
Call me Dr. Dixon. For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark County. I brought up an issue at my advisory board that I wanted to get the greater public to know about, who may or may not have an interest, and it does kind of relate to what Mr. Moley just talked about as far as water rights, is that the former Nevada test site, now the Nevada National Security Site, NNSS, has their environmental impact statement up for review between now and the end of November. And if you go to the Department of Energy and look up NNSS, or formerly Nevada Test Site, you can get to that. And if you're concerned about what activities the government may continue to do on that site and how they're remediating the activities that were done formerly on that site, I recommended the public here, because we have a variety of sportsmen and other thing, and it impacts people in the local counties around that, in Nye County and other things. And so I just wanted to put that out there to the public, that that exists, and that if people were interested, you go to the departmentofernergy.gov and look up NNSS, NNSS. Thank you.
Walt?
I turned it off.
Well, I turned it off, you can't talk.
That's good. Anyhow, Walter Mandeville, Lyon County Board, and I'm not sure if this is the proper place. I was waiting for the county game board input, but this is good enough. This concerns policy number 51, which changed this past year, and our board has heard a large number of complaints about that change, and you all know the history. And we voted to recommend that the Wildlife Commission consider repealing policy 51 and reverting back to the original policy that honored Mr. Kirch, and make any changes that might be necessary to dress it up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Walt. Any further public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Oh,
Is this on the bear subject?
it's on any subject you want.
I want to make a comment on the bears.
Okay. Bring your card up, please. Right up here at the microphone, please state your name for the record.
Oh, it's on here, okay.
My name is Buck Sampson. I want to make a comment on the bear. You know, I think that bear hunt, stuff like that, is kind of like illegal in my eyes, in my point of view, to a lot of the Native Americans, because first of all, there's really no, as far as I know, any consultation with any of the nearest tribes where the bear hunt will be going on. And second of all, we use the bear in ceremonies. We use what we have traditional bear dance. In our bear dance, we use certain parts of the bear for our ceremonies. And some people have that ability to communicate with the bear through these ceremonies. And when they go through a lot of ceremonies and stuff like that, we use the bear to help us. We use the bear to help us in our survival. And we don't just go out and hunt the bear for the fun of it or the sport of it. We use certain parts of the bear for our medicine, for our sacred ways, our traditional ways that we've always used it. We only use it for in time of need, not just going out and having the bear just how you got, well, we look at it as like eradicating the bear, just like how they did almost the population of the Native Americans. They continued the bear hunt all the time, over and over again. We'll eventually exterminate the bear, and there will be no bear hunting. You know, we use the bears, we pray to them. To us, it's sacred. So I wanted to make that point again. I'm just against the bear hunt. You know, this is myself, I'm representing me, nobody else, or no other tribe but myself here. Thank you.
Okay, any further public comment? Okay, I'll close public comment, bring it back, and our next agenda item is Voting Officer of the Year Award. This is very important. Every year we do this. So Chief Game Warden Rob Bonamici, go ahead if you want to.
It's with great pleasure and great pride that I have the opportunity to present this award here today. What it is for Voting Officer of the Year, and each state selects a Voting Officer of the Year on an annual basis. And this year it's John Swisher. John started with us in 1994 as a hatchery technician, and then in 1999 he became a Nevada State Game Warden, and he started as a game warden here in Fallon. And so he assumed the duties of kind of taking over a lawless reservoir at the time. It was kind of crazy out there. So he plugged away at it, worked at it. The other attribute that John brings with him is he's really good at mustering teamwork and team effort, and bringing all the people, all the game wardens to a common cause. And he did that at Wahonton. That made a big dent in it. 2004, he went to an OUI operating under the influence class and boned up on that, and subsequently made about 15 arrests over the next couple of years. And guess what? Wahonton became a safer place to vote and recreate because of him. He's also liaison with the State Park Office, and the Rangers out of Wahonton, and the Search and Rescue for Lyon County Sheriff's Office. So again, using the team approach, and that's kind of what John's known for, besides doing a great job for us. Also, we have what we call a navigational aids program. That program is the program that the buoys you see out there to keep people off reefs, the 5-mile-an-hour buoys and so forth. Those all require maintenance as lake levels go up and down. So John's also been responsible for that. In addition, he took on the task, I think he volunteered for it, we didn't put too much pressure on him, as defensive tactics instructor for all our game wardens. So he's one of the key instructors for the state in teaching all our game wardens how to be safe out there, come home at night for their families. So with that, it's with great pride that I provide this award to John Swisher. Reads Boating Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Be it known that John Swisher is hereby awarded the Nevada Boating Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award in recognition of outstanding public service, unmatched professionalism in marine law enforcement, and personal commitment to ensuring safe and enjoyable recreational boating. So, thank you, John.
John, don't take off. Do you have any statement you want to make to anybody? Okay, you bet. Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Rob.
Yes, I know many people in the room don't have much occasion to get out to Wahonton. I've been going there since my teen years, and it served me very well during my teen years for what we were looking for. But saying that, I had my family out there 3 weekends ago and had a contact with Department of Wildlife personnel on the lake. I didn't, my 2 sons and my wife did, and it was definitely a positive interaction with the Department of Wildlife for my wife and my 2 boys. And it is not the same lake that I went to when I was younger. It is very family oriented. I hadn't been there in a few years, and there is a noticeable change out there, and if you were a part of that, I do appreciate it.
Okay, any other comment on the award? Okay, let's move on. Agenda item number, I guess, well, I'm not going to even say numbers, member items and announcements. Any commissioners have any items that they'd like to discuss, place on a future agenda, any of those type of items? Commissioner Drew?
Chairman Beth, as the new guy, my first one's a question, and that is, do we need to call Guinness for the length of time we took on agenda item number 3? I think our count over at this end of the table was 1 hour and 15 minutes, so that was pretty impressive. Just a couple of things I found in attending a couple of the CAB meetings. One has already been hit on, but we need better and more timely support material for the CABs to provide us with adequate input. Again, it's been brought up, and I'm sure it'll be brought up under the CAB items, but I would like to see policy 51, reinstatement of the original Kirch Award, brought up at the next commission meeting. Also, I think Clark will touch on this, but looking at review of policy 28, the mule deer policy at a future commission meeting. And the last one might be a question to the department, but I did want to see if we could get an update as soon as possible, and I don't know if it's possible at this meeting, but in terms of disallowing the use of Blackhorn 209 powder during the muzzleloader seasons.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Wallace?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along the lines of when we were discussing improving the agenda, bringing in more information on the sage grouse, I would like to see that continued, as well as today's information. And if the department has anything for at the September meeting, I would like to see that.
Okay, and I'd like to echo that. The agenda item for sage grouse, as indicated by many of the comments, we're going to move forward with tomorrow, but I would still like to have an agenda item and probably sooner rather than later. And so let's, since we aren't confined to specifically doing it to September, I would still like to see it on September if we can get everybody lined up. But if not on September, then December. Let's get everybody put together that can from all these federal agencies, and I think maybe some of the discussion tomorrow might help define what we do there. Any other commissioners with any member items? Commissioner Rob?
Along with what Commissioner Drew said, the Buckhorn 209 item, the policy 51, I'd like to see the verbiage of 2003. See that language so we have a basis to go with. And then the other item that I have had a tremendous amount of phone calls in the last 24 hours is a depredation hunt down around Atlanta Farms. Trying to get my hands around how that depredation hunt came about, how those tags were issued, and just everything about that depredation hunt. It is blowing up in White Pine County right now.
Lincoln County.
No, I know it's blowing up in Lincoln County, but my phone's ringing from White Pine County. So, I just need to get my hands around that and figure out how that occurred, and if there's anything we can do in the future to not have it blow up the way it is currently.
Just a matter of procedure. The department gets all, the secretary is doing his job in getting all these member items.
First one,
Yeah.
you got two. Atlanta Farms, they got, first one was?
Unfortunately, I can't write and think at the same time, so I need
No
some
problem. Between my brain's over across the room and my brain's here, hold on. She's much better than me.
Okay, any other commissioners with any other items they'd like to discuss? Okay, I'll close member items and we'll go ahead with County Advisory Boards, Managed Wildlife member items. Mr. Dixon, Dr. Dixon, excuse me.
I did spend 10 years getting it, so I guess you can say that. There were two things that have been mentioned by Commissioner Drew and Commissioner Rob, but I'll restate them because I put them on my agenda as non-agendized commission items that I wanted to take action on as a board and give you our recommendations. One was the Kershaw Ward Reinstatement Policy 51. And the Clark County Advisory Board of Managed Wildlife unanimously recommended, with public and no dissension from the public at the meeting, that the policy be reopened to public comment, and you guys and the public give you comment back of whether or not we revise the wording in that to get back to the, as people said, the Wayne E. Kershaw Ward, as pointed out, or and if that's one thing, or whether we take the existing policy, which is the Lifetime Achievement Award, which by and large, I don't think is a bad award to give out, because the Kershaw Award and the Lifetime Achievement Award look at different things. And so I would really look at, rather than throw the baby out with the bathwater, is look to see how we can accommodate and have that discussion on both of those, rather than just changing back to Kirsch, this first set of comment. Second comment is that the Clark Cab and the public at the meeting, and a fairly large amount of email that I've received over the last probably 6 months or more, we recommend that the mule deer policy 28 be reopened to public comment. There are numerous public comments as well as cab comments, not only Clark, but other cabs, because I read other cabs' minutes and things, that were ignored during the development of that policy and in the public debate at the commission meetings. And we think that the current policy is flawed, and that at your next commission meeting, you agendize either to cancel the policy we have till it can be repaired, or start the process to suspend it till we get it repaired. But we believe that it is a very flawed policy, and it needs to reflect how we should care for our mule deer in this state, and do it in a fashion that engages the counties, the commission, the Department of Wildlife, as well as Wildlife Services. Thank you.
Any other cabs? Mr. Flowers?
Rex Flowers, Washoe County Cab. Policy 51 was an action item on our agenda, and we want to recommend that the commission reopen that and bring that back to what it was, August 8th, I think it was, when it was written, 2003. We're very vocal about that, as we were when it was done away with. Thank you.
Any other cabs at this point? Mr. Yannick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Gil Yannick, Carson Advisory Board. On behalf of the Carson Advisory Board, the Carson City Board of Supervisors, all the residents of Carson City, we want to thank the Commission for their efforts with seeing that what we call now Bailey Pond was completed. Anytime you drive by there, you'll see people fishing, you'll see families fishing. I had the pleasure of bringing my grandkids out there this year. It was great, and we thank the department for continuing to stock that pond. It was a wonderful use of the funds, and everybody's really enjoying it. Thank you.
Okay, any other cab comments? Seeing none, I'll bring it back, and we are now on approval of minutes. This is an